But we have to make this application for our own life. Who against hope believed in hope that he might become. He believed that he might become the father of many nations according to that which was spoken. He believed according to that which was spoken. So shall thy seed be. Verse 19 says, and being not weak in faith, he considered not his own body, now dead, when he was about 100 years old, neither yet the deadness of Sarah's womb. Again, this is easier said than done. He considered not his physical body. That's easy to say, but hard to do. Would you agree? So when it says here that he considered not his own body now dead, what it means is Abraham at this point, was beyond the capacity to produce a child. You know, when God first started talking to him about it, some time went by, and Abraham's wife Sarah said, well, we don't see this child coming anytime soon, so I've got this handmaiden here, and she's young, and she's probably fertile, and I'm old, and I'm barren, so why don't you go and take this handmaiden and produce offspring with her? And you know what? Abraham did that, and that's where Ishmael came from. But then God came back and said later, no, that's not what I had in mind. I didn't have that in mind. What I had in mind was you and Sarah, and it's going to come through Sarah, the impossible route. and so Abraham had to wait till he was dead. It doesn't mean physically dead, but he was unable to do anything. So now we got a barren woman and a barren man. Now it's impossible. Now God can move. I'm sure God. Now that's what I was waiting for. I'm waiting till it's impossible for you to do anything, and that way God gets all the glory and all the credit for it. That's what that means when. But see, at that point, this is when you would tend to be the most discouraged of all. Wow, it was bad enough before when Sarah was barren. Now I can't do anything either, and so now what's going to happen? But it says he was not weak in faith, and it says he considered not his own body now dead. He didn't take that into consideration. Well, you know what? Your mind's not a vacuum. What did he take into consideration? All he was thinking about was what God said. Kind of single-minded about that. So when we read earlier about the children of Israel, it said the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. It's not as easy as it might seem, because what's required is to take what God said and let that be the main thing. It's not that you're in some fantasy world and don't take note of what's happening in the physical world, but what God said is more important. Okay. Being not weak in faith, he considered not his own body now dead when he was about 100 years old, neither yet the deadness of Sarah's womb. And he staggered not at the promise of God through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to God. And listen to this, verse 21. And being fully persuaded that what he had promised, he was able to perform. Wow. That's what he's encouraging us. He says that so that we would also become fully persuaded. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't know if I am fully persuaded. How can you get more persuaded? Well, keep looking at it. Keep reading about it. Keep looking at what God said. And eventually you can become persuaded if you don't feel persuaded yet. But it says, he was fully persuaded, Abraham was, that what he had promised, he was able to perform. You notice that the promise and the performance are all on God's side. Did you see that? The promise and the performance are all on God's side. What's on the human side? Faith. We're supposed to believe it. Well, you might say, I believed it, and then I got discouraged. We'll keep believing again. We just come back to it. And well, what if it doesn't seem any different tomorrow? We'll keep on believing tomorrow. Or what if a week goes by and it doesn't seem... Well, I would say just keep on believing next week too. Just stand there, and say what he promised, he's able to perform. I don't have to know how it works, but I say what he promised, he's able to perform. And I just choose to believe that he's doing it, that he's able to perform.